where should we begin? Anyway, I will ask you for the beginning.
Okay.
So, what did you study? Why you started to make movies? And when?
Thank you. I studied film, actually writing in film school from 2003 to 2007 in Beijing Film Academy, which I hate very much until now. And the reason why I entered the film school was because I heard if I study film, I don't need to study mathematics at school. So I was so bad at it. And yeah, like my during the national exam, my mathematics was like a 50 out of 150. So, and I slowly fall in love with filmmaking because I realize it is such an amazing way to communicate with other people. So without a film, I won't be able to know many friends, and I won't be able to make my trip to Ljubljana this time and meet all of you.
And what was your first film? For the studies, I suppose.
Since I hate my film school very much, so I didn't make any film when I was in school. But the first short movie I made was called New Beijing, New Marriage. It's about same-sex marriage campaign in China. And after that, I continued to make more documentaries because there was very limited people who has time and who also want to do work on LGBT film and activism. So I become more and more active and also become more and more poor. And I remember in 2009, I only have like a few $100s in my bank account, so it was crazy. But slowly, when you get more involved, and also people who realize you need to support, so I got a lot of support from the community.
So from the beginning, you started to work on LGBT subjects. So where did you get the courage for this, or did you have some, I don't know, teachers?
So I think it started with a lot of anger. The history was in 2005. I attended the second edition of the Beijing Queer Film Festival. So that is what I'm still working for until now. It was shut down by the police in 2005, and the organizers had to move somewhere else. One of the organizers is also professor at my film school, but because he's very outspoken, he was not allowed to teach in film school. I think the festival here also, some of the film, his film also showing here, Professor Cui. Yeah. So in the beginning of the motivation was that I want to do something for the community. And it's very identity politics driven. But afterward, I slowly realized, it's not only just LGBT people supporting ourselves, but it's a lot of time we have a very diverse of identity of people who helps us and we help each other. Like in our committee, the committee for Beijing Queer Film Festival, we have one woman. She's identified herself as a straight, and also we have one straight man on the committee. I think it's very important of the ally to be involved.
But was it possible for you to see, I don't know, gay movies from the world? And how did you, I don't know, did you see movies of Fassbinder, German?
I think China is such a weird country and in many different ways. So when I was in film school, we obviously watched a lot of films from other countries, but through piracy DVDs. I remember I was taking, there was a few really big priority DVD stores around film school, and that's like a paradise for us. I remember even once I took a famous American director going around in Beijing, and one of his requests is that he wanted to go to the priority DVD store. And he also bought his own movie. And we grew up with so many different films, but there was rarely any academia research or any archive for it, official archive for it. So that's the reason why in 2007 I published a book about queer films from all over the world. So that was when I was 21 years old, and that was also the first book on this topic. That book also made me quite a lot of money. So that's the money I used to buy the camera and the computer. But in the same time, you will see all those films are so underground, and it is okay to do that out of the law, and but it's not okay if you want to organize a queer film festival and the authority that would think you are challenging them, and moreover having a film festival is gathering people together and they feel super unsafe. What they are going to say, what are you going to do? So our history of this, for the Beijing Queer Film Festival with the authority has been always very difficult. And we were shut down by them for a few times, and until now we're not funded by them.
The festival was at the university or something. As I remember that there was also one film about this festival.
Yeah.
That was the one at the university, and then you moved to another one. Oh.
Yeah, it's called Our Story, the Guerrilla History of Beijing Queer Film Festival. It was really guerrilla style. And now, in recent years, we were hosted by the French Institute in Beijing. So it's more stable, but there was also other challenge and other problem coming to us.
But anyway, there are also Chinese films with LGBT subject.
Yeah, and so I would say I was always asking, oh, is that difficult for you to shoot the film? Yeah, of course, there is a lot of challenge, but it is rather difficult to show film than shooting film. When a lot of filmmakers, they spend their saving, they spend so much time on it, but in the end, rarely any Chinese audience could watch them. Even some films could go to big festivals, but still it's hard to reach the audience in China. So that's also why we want to have this platform, giving opportunity for Chinese audience to see Chinese film. Because a lot of time, for example, this film Papa Rainbow, actually before that I made Mama Rainbow. A lot of people ask me, so a lot of people until now, then some I meet audience, my audience in China, they would tell me that, oh, thanks for your film. I show it to my parents and made my coming out progress to be easier. I think one film won't change everything, but it's definitely really helpful because they see other parents can also have a communication with their kids, and we are from the same cultural background and same ethical also the groups, and it's really touching. It's not only, but before that you can only show them some priority DVD, and parents will say, oh, they maybe they watch like how to say, Pray for Bobby, and they will say, but this is American kids, American family, and their weight is white, so it's not about it's a foreign influence. And it's not, we don't have a gay in China, so you heard so many of that saying. But now we are telling them, well, there is also LGBT in China. There is also parents who are getting along with their LGBT kids.
How was with your parents?
My parents say, so I came out to them when I was making another film called Chinese Closet. So that was before Mama Rainbow. And thanks to the all the interview I did with my protagonist, it's made my coming out to be easier. So they were okay for me being queer, but somehow I didn't tell them in the beginning what I was doing because Chinese parents. Firstly, I didn't choose a very mainstream way to study engineer or computer science, anything like that, you decent job and money. And secondly, I didn't, as a film school student, I didn't go to the industry to write for TV series, which will bring you much more money. And thirdly, I was also doing something not so welcomed by the authority. So I didn't mention to them what I'm doing. But one day, when I was interviewed by television, and I know that TV is available in my hometown, I realized I had to tell my parents. And so, I tried, but even before I tell them, I realized they actually knows everything because there is the internet. And I taught them to use internet. And I really appreciate it. So they are still not super supportive to what I'm doing, but I really appreciate that they didn't bother me at all. So many years, they sort of worried about me, but didn't tell me much about, didn't give me any pressure not to do it.
So tell me a little bit, how did you make this, or Mama Rainbow and Papa Rainbow, how did you find mamas and papas to be in the film?
So that would be really, I'm really grateful to PFLAG China. This is, as you can see from the film, this is parents, friends, family of the lesbian in China. The two founders, one of them is still the director for this organization. When they just founded in 2008, I went to their first conference with only one mother. Could be openly talking about it. But later, so in 2010, they talked with me about making this documentary. It was already there was more and more parents could get involved, but with only 6 mothers. So who are willing to talk in front of the camera. So that's why we made Mama Rainbow in 2010. After Mama Rainbow, everybody was asking, where are the fathers? So in the beginning, I didn't really want to make a sequence of Mama Rainbow, and that made me feel I'm repeating myself. But we found this new strategy, and how can we feature them and be in a more creative way. And also we found the parents and we found the families from smaller town in China, because China is such a big country. And in Mama Rainbow, most of the families are from the East Coast. We have very big region difference. And in the end, we could also find families with transgender kids. So then that's how we made Papa Rainbow. Mostly beside the comments, the connection from PFLAG, I also use my own connection. So I post advertisement on social media. So we found some families also through that.
And were the reactions to both films?
Mostly very well. As I said, people show that to parents and to their friends, but somehow the only negative critical is that some people think it's too positive. So I was saying why those parents are so open-minded, but the logic is if they are super against it, they won't let me interview them. There was also some strange reaction there. When I showed it in the States, there was one person who was holding my hand. It was young man, you did a great job. Thank you for doing this. It's great. I thought, oh yes, we should show it all over the country in the U.S. Yes. and we should tell them, see, even Chinese parents can accept their kids being gay. Why not American kids? And I would say, oh my god, it sounds so weird. So you know, but the result, okay. But later, I got into this strange situation that I found Mama Rainbow was censored from internet in China, because I put 28 minutes, a short version of Mama Rainbow on internet, and then I was so angry. And I was introduced to a lawyer. He said he can help me to sue the government. And without any hesitating, I would say, yeah, of course I want to sue them. Because I even didn't think the court will accept it. Then, the day when I see the document that the court accepted it, I was shocked. I think I will be in big trouble. So, in 2000, all through the year of 2015, I had this year-long lawsuit with the government. And the result was very complicated, but sort of quite positive to me. And the court support that the government didn't censor it. But my Mama Rainbow was not put back on the internet, and moreover, the short version of Papa Rainbow was also censored. There is someone also made a documentary about this lawsuit called Blocked and Censored. I really hope to next time we can also bring that documentary back to Ljubljana.
And how did you come to Berlin? So, if I understand, you are almost 2 years already.
I spent 2 years already in Berlin, Germany, and in the beginning I was, because as I mentioned about the lawsuit, make me feel not well welcomed in Beijing, and at that year 2016, all my film screenings are were shut down by authority. And I was thinking, I will move out from Beijing. In the beginning, I was thinking of moving to Shanghai, but then suddenly someone sent me this invitation to do residency in Berlin for 1 year. And I fall into this trap of the cliche, someone go to Berlin for a residency and then stay there for a longer time. So I'm starting, but I also find this quite fascinating of queer Asian community in Germany, and how do people, and even a lot of people see it's like a very diverse paradise for you to be queer, but somehow it's Germany is still quite very monoculture. It's people still don't have the much understanding about the racial issues. So I want to feature this phenomenon and to taking them into my creativity. So I have a short movie last year in Berlin, and I have 2 other scripts I want to shoot next year.
And where you get money for these films in Berlin?
And my last film I got, I pitched to a queer experimental film festival in Berlin called Exposed, and they selected 5 pitches, and in the end I beat all the Germans to get the funding. And the next 2 films, and one of them is, by the way, one of them is also pornography. And then I want to, one of them is, I call it interracial, threesome, bisexual, food culture porn. It sounds like everything, right? It's really yummy. And I pitched it to a porn company in Barcelona. I'm going there next week to meet them and talk about more details, and hopefully if I get the money I can shoot it next year. But the other one is about I want to shoot in the short in a small town in Germany. We're trying to get some state funds from depending on which state of Germany is interested to invest.
You travel with your films all around the world, as I saw, but I think that you like to return on China also.
I was there in the beginning of November for the Beijing Queer Film Festival. It was our 11th edition this year, but I can see the situation is really not very optimistic recently. Even when we hosted at the French Institute this year, but still we were not able to promote it very high profile. I always, but every time when I have a screening in China, I feel really very important. And hopefully, beside Beijing, we can also have more screenings in the country.
So now is your turn.
Thank you very much for both of your films, and congratulations. I enjoyed them very much, and I would very love to see more of your work. I was wondering about your first film that you showed us. How did you make the script? Did you do it together with your actors, and were you behind the camera as well?
Yeah, wow, thank you for the question. And actually, when I was making, as I said, the progress of the censorship on Mavrični, when I called the website about why they censored my film, so they asked me, do you have any political issues and political sensitive stuff? And no. Do you have any pornography in the films? And no. It's just about coming out. And then after I say that, I was saying, well, what's wrong with the pornography? Why I even myself feel I'm censored myself not to do pornography. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to make a pornography. So and then when I was interviewed by a scholar, she asked me, what is your future goal in filmmaking? What do you want to do the most? And I was halfly joking that I want to make a feminism queer porn. And then she said, you know what, I have two friends who, you should meet them. It will be great for you to collaborate. And then I was introduced to this, back then there was still a couple, and they also live in this beautiful yard in Beijing. And after even we just know each other for a couple of weeks, I wrote a story based on my understanding about their character, my imagination about their story. And in order to build so it was just totally wrote by me in the beginning, but in order to build this trust, we did a small workshop on storytelling about sex. And three of us, we all tell about our sex experiments and sex imagination. And also I told them why this one I want to make it to be feminism, because it's not a regular porn. I don't want you to look like they also talk about in the film. I want you to be more realistic and show your body without shame. And I also want to do an interview with you and put into the film. So it was before we really do it, everything sounds great, because we were all sort of academia at some point. But when we started it, everybody, there was so much drama. So I worked with in the beginning. It was the first day we shot the shower and the masturbate. And so when we started to shoot the masturbate, my cameraman, so he's a gay man, so, and he told me he always want to work with me, and he technically really well trained. But then after even in the first day, it just when was the masturbation started, and because we have our camera was really it's a no budget film, so the camera I borrowed from a friend, and has really very short lens. So when we want to have any close up, we have to really get very close to the genital, and then he just took me to a corner and tell me, Popo, I think I have a vagina phobia. I can't get so close to the vagina, and then I said, okay, I'm okay. I don't have vagina phobia. Maybe I do the close up. So if you see the close up of the masturbation are actually done by me, so it was shaking, and then after the first day, I feel it's so incorrect. Even me, myself, and just consider myself very feminism, but still feel very wrong, like the camera looks like a gun, and you are shooting a woman, the body of the woman, and then I got idea. I just text a friend. She lives in Shanghai. She's a camera woman, and I said I need your help for shooting, because I know her girlfriend living in Beijing, so she comes to Beijing quite often. And she said, oh, send me a script, I will consider about it. And after I sent her the script, within 2 minutes, she said, yes, I'm coming. So when she got on board, everything is much, much easier. And some of the shooting, so the leaking on the, with this cream thing, she was riding on one of the actress' neck and shooting the other actress. And I can't imagine that if I still have the cameraman to do anything like that. And at the sex scene, and we were saying we now go freestyle, and then you just do everything improv. And it went really well, but the only bad issue was the camera went too hot. Because it was summer in Beijing, it was so warm in the inside, and the camera even stopped working. And fortunately, she has a backup camera, and we shot partly with the backup camera. So that's why the grading was not so good. Actually, after this film, and there was a website asked me to get license it on their website, so we can get the profit. But because of the privacy issue for the two performers, so they don't want to put it online. Also, they broke up after my shooting. So I always feel a little bit strange, like people seeing them fucking on the screen with their ex. So they were, but it's okay to show, only okay to show it in festivals. But then I told the website who want to license it, oh, you know what, I can make a new one for you. And so I continue my career being a porn director, and see if it will feed me in the future. Any other questions?
What's the name of the website?
Because it's not, the contract was not signed yet. So I tell you, they might bring the film next year to here, so then you will know everything.
Okay. Any more questions?
What about the censorship in general about these issues?
Before 2000. So before 2017, there was no regulation on LGBT in China. So it was the same, but it could go to any catalog in the censorship. For example, sexual behavior, even two straight people. If you go to the go to cinemas in China, it could be very shocked, because they're quite, because we don't have a rating system, so everybody can go to see any film. And some of my friends are very shocked. Oh, they go quite far in sex, some of the films. But straight sex could be because I just come from Vietnam, from Hanoi, before here, and the Queer Film Festival, the authority had to censor 2 of the film, and one of them was about a teenage swimming team, and it was censored because there was young girls wearing only swimming suits. But this won't happen in China because they like nudity. And anyway, I was talking about nudity from behind. The censorship is okay. But if it is related to anything LGBT, they think it's not okay to have any so-called sexual behavior. And also there's also censorship about political, and they think being gay is already a political issue in China. So there was but from 2017, and interesting, it's right after my lawsuit, they had regulation against literally LGBT. It was written in the regulation, but somehow the censorship was not really following this regulation. You can still see some small characters in mainstream cinema, small who was portrayed as very stereotype gay or lesbian or transgender, but the system is more censored by people. And I read one article about article of the title was called "A Day of a Censor." So they interviewed one of the censors who worked for the censorship on film, and so he said that they could be influenced by just the person, the mood of the person. So if he or she had a good day, and they could give more license to films. But if they maybe just had a fight with their wife, or they didn't have a good sex these days, could influence to the film they pass the censorship or not. It's just very crazily random. And recently, it's also getting worse because it's become more and more unstable. This year there were at least already happened 5 times. Some films already got a license, and those films, I'm not talking about like independent films, no budget films like mine. They have $100 million investment, and then suddenly, and they was looking for to have a big box office in China, but suddenly the government withdrew their permission to show, and so this means the company is going to totally breaking down, and also it's being a joke that this year there was 2 films in Berlinale withdrawn from 2 Chinese movies withdrawn from Berlinale because of the Chinese authority, and they have to say it was a technical reason. So this is almost a joke. So why our country, the film industry doing so well, but the technical level is so bad because we don't know any film can show or not. Even this year there was 3 Chinese movies in Cannes, and the title of the Hollywood Reporter was saying, 3 Chinese movies going to Cannes, will they make it? So, and in the end, 1 film withdrawn from a certain regard. So this produced the worst situation. The worst result is that this produced self-censorship. So all the filmmakers are just screaming. They have to be extremely careful. So to get if they get a license or not, or even if their license will be withdrawn in the very last minute. So it's always a mystery. To be honest, I personally consider some people consider me to be the people talking about the censorship, but nobody really knows how do they work.
But it's different in Hong Kong. Hutong Vibe is from Hong Kong, no?
How comes we still have this one country, two system. Even it's already a lie. But yeah, so they, for Hong Kong movies, go through different censorship. Hong Kong is maybe the most liberal place to watch films. So they, you can show all different the films according to the rating system. But now the new issue is that the Hong Kong film market is going really down. They really rely on the Chinese film market. So in recent years, you don't see many interesting Hong Kong movie, and there was rarely any LGBT films could also produced in Hong Kong. But Taiwan, the film market in Taiwan has been raising these years. You can see more diverse of Taiwanese movies. So that's why sometimes people tell me, "Oh, I see a Chinese film, a queer movie. So why they could get quite a big, looks very big budget and pass the censorship, and then they send me the link and then check. Oh, actually it's a Taiwanese movie. It's so complicated to explain to people, you know, because we use the same language and different character, but with a lot of similar cultural background.
But we had one movie from China this year in selection, but we didn't like it. It was very bourgeois. You sent me the link. I remember.
Oh, you mean the red? The red?
Yeah, I think so.
And that one is I know.
It's very kind commercial of high society.
Yeah, that film. From what I know is that I heard they get a permission to shoot, but in the end they didn't get the license to show in China. So that's why the filmmaker is also, and because there was a regulation from 2 years ago that if your film go out side of China attending international film festival, your company will get a fine for about 15,000 euro of fine. So it's also the filmmaker is scary to get that fine. But that film, from what I know, is the filmmaker self-funded his film, and he has some other business to pay for this film. There was also a film in Berlinale even won an award called "A Dog Barking at the Moon." Yeah, that film. Also the filmmaker paid the film from her family and her husband's family. So it's because you can imagine if they can show in China and go through the market. We have so many talents who can make really good movie. There was even last year there was a film in Venice called Jose. They're shot in Guatemala or somewhere in in Central America, but actually the filmmaker is from China. They just went there. He studied Spanish and developed the story. So you can see a lot of them can, if those talents could also make Chinese movie and developing the story from our own cultural background. But because of censorship, they had to run away to find other oasis for their filmmaking.
No more questions? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh my God, I've been suffering with jet lag so much, and then I almost fall asleep. And then I took a espresso. My heartbeat is like this, and but we can talk to you. And thanks so much for your question and listen to me. Thank you, Brane.